Good morning to all of you out there. Welcome to the program agenda. Thank you for joining us once again on this rather overcast, cloudy, almost stormy feeling Thursday, October the 14th, 2021. Today, we will be talking about technology. Well, hindi naman po tayo magte-techie, but we will be speaking to two persons who are very much involved and have dedicated their lives into one, informing the public regarding privacy issues and technology. Kasi marami po sa inyo gumagamit ng mobile phones, you are dependent on social media, internet, etc. But we have reached that point in our lifetime where technology, as much as a blessing, can also be a curse. Okay, so we will be speaking to our guest later, but before that, let's go to our daily starter. Socrates said, when the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. This is so true in our lives, ordinary life, political life, and in the chismis life. Because if you pay attention to what has been going on in the news, particularly with regards to the anomalies in government or the conflicts on the ongoing electoral process, there are many individuals who seem to have opted to resort to slander, name calling, accusations, character assassination. Please do not copy these individuals. This type of behavior is indicative of people who, for lack of anything better, decides to simply destroy other people's reputation, character, or qualities. And that is what Socrates reminds us. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. So kung yung mga politikong kilala ninyo na may personal na, nambababoy na, or have resorted to accusations and false claims, it is an indication that they are losers. Okay? That's our daily starter. Pasensya na po, hindi tayo very spiritual this morning, but I have seen too much in the papers, online, and we need to remind our children, do not follow the examples of these people because we need to be at a higher level of intellect and engagement. Now, let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. And there you have it, the headline, NCR eased to alert level 3. As expected and pushed by Joey Concepcion, the business sector, health experts, Okta Research Group, etc., the National Capital Region or Metro Manila is now categorized at alert level 3, and this is good news because at alert level 3, most of the businesses will be allowed to open with the restriction that maximum 30% capacity for indoor venues and 50% outdoor venue capacity. Yun po generally ang rule. And of course, you have to address the health protocols. You have to follow the health protocols. And yesterday, when I went out to have my blood test, my eye test, and my x-ray, etc., hinahanapan po kami, even in the restaurant, hinahanapan kami ng vaccination card. So it is a good indication that even the restaurants now are being aware. So for those of you wondering, practically everything is allowed. You can go to party of for Congressman Pichay. So yung PDP, hindi PDP laban, yung grupo ni Pichay, sinasabi nila na yung kanilang candidate, Lakas, CMD, yung candidate nilang si Velasco, is also a placeholder. So as far as COMELEC is concerned, they're not necessarily nuisance candidates. And in order to declare them nuisance candidate, a complainant has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the person who filed the COC has no intention of running. Anyway, that will surely be an issue in Congress in the coming days or in the future. Now, further down, that photo is a photo of a stretcher carrying the remains of two children. Dalawang bata po yan. Yung isa ay 4-year-old at yung isa po ay, if I'm not mistaken, 12 years old. And they were recovered after a landslide at the Dominican Hill in Baguio City that was really inundated by rains. And yun na po. Okay, moving forward, let's go to the other stories. And you go. The picture that you are seeing here is our health sanitation workers of Pasig City spraying cemeteries in the city public cemetery of Pasig to prevent the spread of COVID-19 virus kasi maglalabasan. It is expected that people, Pasigueños, will be going out, well, also all over the country, will be going to the cemeteries so that they can pay their respects to the dead because all the cemeteries will be closed down from October 29 to November 3, if I'm not. There you go, Concepcion. Presidential Advisor Joey Concepcion pushes for mandatory vaccination. She always has done in the past. Joey Concepcion is now pushing after the getting the alert level for NCR down to alert level 3. Now the agenda of Concepcion is to push for mandatory vaccination because there is now enough vaccines available. Because in the past, the problem was we did not have enough vaccines and it was difficult to insist for everyone to get vaccinated. Anyway, so back to the front page of the Philippine Star. And we have on the other side, there we go. Senators to Department of Social Welfare and Development explain the ayuda issues because the budget for 2022 is now being checked, itemized by the Senate, and they are trying to determine if the money that the DSWD got for last year was actually spent, how much of it went to ayuda, etc. Kasi alam niyo po, kung hindi naman nagagamit yung pera, ang gagawin ng Senado, tatapyasan yung budget na hinihingi ng gobyerno. Okay, back to the front page. Okay, active cases down, way down to 7,181. Ang masakit po, nagkatotoo na yung sinabi ko the last 2 days. We are now actually beyond 40,000. I was forecasting 40,000, but now we have exceeded 40,069. We have reached 40,069 Filipinos have died because of COVID-19 in the last year and a half, if not more. So ayan po. Number of confirmed cases, active cases, 7,181. Deaths, 173. Total number of recorded cases since March 2020, 2,690,455. Okay. Back to the front page of the Philippine Star. And I believe there. Oops. Noli backs out of Senate race. Okay. Veteran broadcaster, former Vice President, and former Senator Noli De Castro has decided to withdraw his candidacy as senator 5 days after filing it. And De Castro thanked those who supported him, but he decided that he would be better off serving the Filipino people in his capacity as a veteran broadcaster. And we applaud your decision, Kuya Noli, because sabi ko nga, mas powerful yung media pagdating dito sa paghabol ng mga korap at mga korakot. Okay. The CHED kicks off targeted jobs for tertiary students. Finally, napakinggan na rin. Okay? Finally, nakinig na. The Commission on Higher Education will start the inoculation of college students. It is not mandatory, but it is encouraged. Sabi nga ni Joey Concepcion, dapat gawing mandatory. No vaccination, no enrollment dapat. Anyway, as far as the front page is concerned, the Commission on Higher Education is now beginning the vaccination programs. Okay. 62% of Pinoys fear COVID worst still to come. Okay? Yan po yung mga survey ng SWS, and based on the people surveyed conducted September 12 to September 16, ayan po ang resulta na many Filipinos still believe na mas lalala pa ang COVID cases and problems with COVID-19. And finally, we have a new MMDA and a new DPWH chief. Okay? Yan po, on the left, lawyer Romando Artes is the new GM of the MMDA. Sorry. New GM of the MMDA. Okay, tapos si former, or I don't know if he's former, but Southern Leyte Representative Roger Mercado took his oath as the Department of Public Works and Highways Secretary yesterday. So ayan na, that's the front page of the Philippine Star. And we will be now going to our first interview of the day. Our first guest is a retired brigadier general and an electronics engineer, former Undersecretary for Operations of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, one of the most outspoken head of the DICT. Ayan na po. USEC, or well, USEC, OIC Eliseo Mijares Rio. Sir, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Cito. Thank you for inviting me again to your program.
Well,
good morning to all your listeners.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you for sharing your morning with us. I got very intrigued when Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson, who's now running for president, mentioned you particularly in our interview and said, we consulted with USEC Rio regarding itong mga fears regarding technology-induced electoral fraud. Sabi ko, what do you mean? Nagbigay siya ng briefing. Sabi ko, ang labo. Ba't hindi kami imbitado doon sa briefing? Sana may natutunan pa kami. So, sir, could you give us an idea what that briefing was all about?
Well, actually, that was done by COMELEC, no? On parang part ito ng kanilang source code review, no? on the automated election system natin. Every election time we have the source code review of the VCM, the voice counting machine, are being changed, no? Because magbabago ng pangalan ng kandidato at maraming bago, no, from the last election. And this time actually there was a face-to-face briefing, no, of COMELEC on the source code. So yun ang ginagawa ngayon. In fact, I think it's still ongoing, no, because ang difference ng source code review before and now is ngayon since the source code is now in our possession, no, nabili na natin yung source code na yan. Parang mas maluwag ang pagsuri nitong source code na ito kaysa noon dahil mayroon pang mga non-disclosure agreement noon. So more or less ganun na nangyayari sa briefing na ito.
Okay, the source code essentially is the control. Kumbaga parang remote control yan or yan yung password for all of these counting
The
machines?
source code is what makes the VCM work, no? In other words, yun ang nagbabasa ng what you have shaded in your ballot, no?
Okay. Para siyang app.
Yes, para
Para
siyang
app, okay.
yes, it is an application of parang ganyan talaga, okay.
Okay, now, do we have reason to be concerned about this upcoming election in terms of technology-driven fraud? Kasi, alam nyo, sir, when I listen to all of these documentaries and reports abroad, it would seem like social media, for instance, was used in some countries to drive hate, to sway the voters to a certain party. And generally, the impression is it is controlled by people with the most money who can put up the biggest number of troll farms. Ngayon, could you...
Well, actually, that's outside the AES, no? Yung itong using the multimedia for campaign purposes, no? That is, of course, something that the government can regulate, no? Through even COMELEC can mandate this and monitor what is going on in the social media, no?
Yeah.
And that's true, no? That social media has been used extensively to change opinions of people and things like that, no? And
okay, in your briefing with the COMELEC and for the political, kasi from what I understand from Senator Ping, at least 4 political groups have banded together to make sure that this source code is not adulterated or misused. Now, what guarantee and what steps will be taken? What are the steps that will ensure na hindi magiging subject to doubt or suspicion yung counting?
Well, yung isang kinakuan namin, no, ina-advocate namin is yung provision nasa law, no, nasa AES law that yung mga ating board of electoral inspectors must sign, no, digitally sign in the VCM, no, before they transmit the results. Ngayon wala ho yun. Ang ginagamit lang natin ngayon is the digital ID of the VCM itself, no? And anybody who, an insider can clone those digital ID, no? Kaya mayroon nung tayo nadidinig ng cases, no, na mga VCM na nakikita sa Antipolo o mga this actually can clone a PCM in a precinct, no? and can transmit result ahead. And in fact, it will, kung yung actual VCM will actually transmit, it will be disregarded because mayroon nang nag-transmit ng So ito po ang isang, tinatawag, ito po isang dapat po matagal nang nagawa. No? When I was with the ICT, actually we have already the digital system, no? Signature system, no? And it's working now. It's working. In fact, ginagamit na nga ang laking tulong nga sa pandemic, no? Because government documents can be signed digitally. Sana ho ito'y gamitin na ngayong 2022 election.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, but it really needs coordination between COMELEC and the ICT.
Okay, well, what is the situation? I know you're now officially an outsider at the DICT, no? But from the time you left and to now, medyo may nagbago ba sa DICT because the impression is parang they have not been properly funded and parang hindi klaro yung roadmap ng DICT regarding its role in government.
Well, what I can say is that when I was with DICT, our budget was even lower, no, than what Secretary Hunasan was getting, from Congress, no. But we were able to accomplish some na improve natin yung ating speed. We came up with the third telco with self competition, and in fact this actually made our speed much better than 2016, no, that our internet connectivity became actually an election issue that time, no, and in fact it has given our president a number of votes, no, by just saying that I'm going to improve our telecommunication system, no? And we were able to do that during that time, and of course it was continued when Secretary Hunasan became the DICT secretary, no?
Yeah, are you worried that we could have? You remember during the count several years back, there was like a 5-hour blackout.
Sa
Are you?
Facebook? No.
No, yung sa counting mismo, yung
Okay,
pagbato,
Okay.
pagbato sa mga broadcast centers and sa mga candidates, and there was that 5-hour blackout or no data.
Yes.
Are you concerned that things like that would happen in 2022 because medyo mainit itong upcoming election na ito? What are your concerns?
Well, of course, our concern really is it is going to be an insider job. No? Forget about somebody trying to, a political party trying to hack the system. No? It definitely will be an insider job. No? And so yun ang isang concern talaga namin na for example, yung sinasabi ko, an insider could clone the machine VCM IDs, no? So that another, outside of the precinct, a VCM with the same ID can transmit ahead, no?
Yeah.
So this is an insider job, no? And so ang proposal, well, of course, our people would like that everything will be transparent, no, open. Any movement has to be approved by the COMELEC in bank, and I think this can be avoided, no, and give the people confidence that the election results are truly reflective of the people's will.
Okay. Senator Lacson mentioned yung sa StaySafe app that it was never really used, fully utilized, or implemented, and that in the meantime that app managed to gather 20 million the data of 20 million persons. Now, medyo pag-uusapan namin yan later in the program with Commissioner Liboro regarding privacy. But, after the good senator mentioned that, medyo na-paranoid na kami because every place we go, they ask to scan or to enter data. And sabi ko, baka kung saan mapunta itong mga data namin. What's your reaction to that, sir?
Well, since 2020, no, May, February, I was already more or less, I was objecting on this choice of StaySafe as our official contact tracing app, no, because it was not properly vetted, no. I mean, it did not pass through DICT, where I was then the operations on. I was the undersecretary for operations, no. Uh, However, the interagency task force approved it, no, and well, na-is out tayo sa gobyerno. My main concern that StaySafe is actually a surveillance app, no. I've been with the intelligence, and I know what that application can do. It can, of course, when you register to it, you have to give your cell phone number, no, and with that you allow it also, or you have and it can actually locate your position, no. Well, the idea is so that if you are positive, then you should not be moving around, no. Okay, but I said that, well, in others, if I'm positive and I like to move around, why would I bring my cell phone with me? But anyway,
But as a former intelligence officer, how can this be used by the wrong people? Because you now remind me of the Netflix series House of Cards, where they created an app so people can enlist, get jobs, and then yung palang kanilang data kinolect, and then it was going to be used for influencing the trends and the
yes.
likes, etc. So, as an intelligence officer, how will this be used or could be used?
Well, for one, no, until now, we still don't know where the data center of all these, cell phone numbers are. No, it is supposed to be in the ICT, but the ICT doesn't have it. No, uh, it was supposed to be also in the COVID Kaya system of DOH, but it's not there. No. So I think that's the number one question. Where is, or who is actually physically in possession of all this of the data center? No? And uh, I think it's still with Multisys, no, a private company, no, and I think this is a concern. And maybe you can ask NPC Commissioner Liboro that, no, exactly where is the data center, no, because it is now in the possession of DILG,
DILG, yeah.
yes, the app system and everything, but DILG doesn't have a data center, no. So in other words, the data center is still with Multisys, and
So the DILG officially in paper is supposed to be in control of 20 million people's data, but they don't have a data center, so they cannot possibly hold that in their facility. And now it is in the possession of the private proponent of StaySafe, but it should be actually government controlled and government
yes,
protected.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Ngayon,
that
ang
is
tanong,
Yes, it's supposed to be the idea. In fact, there is a resolution made by the Interagency Task Force last year, around June last year, no, that there must be a uh, deed of donation document. Nasaan yon, yung deed of donation, no? Na pinirmahan ng multisys transferring the system to the government, no? That seems to be missing, no? Sabi lang ni, I think the spokesperson mentioned na, yeah, there's a deed of donation, parang pa na, done na yun, no? But why is it not being shown to the people, no? Or even the ICT does not seem to have seen it yet.
Okay, I think the signal of Secretary Rio froze there, and we are having some technical problems. But anyway, we'll try to get back to you, Sec Rio, if we can. And if not, we will have to move on with our other interview. We will now go for a quick break, and we'll be back here on agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda, and let's try to bring in former USEC Eliseo Rio. Sir, napapansin ko lang, pag meron ka nang sasabing controversial, biglang naghahang yung signal mo.
Yeah. Tayo dalawa no, during this every time. Well, I don't know.
Okay. And anyway, last question ko na lang before we end the interview, USEC. Itong DICT at the moment is supposed to be collating all of the vaccine data. Yung vaccination card. They're supposed to be issuing the vaccination card. So presumably they can only issue if they receive the information. Is there anything in that setup that could be a cause of concern in terms of data that could be stolen or could be pirated or could be mined?
Well, of course, all of these are possible. No, it is actually the responsibility of the ICT to protect the privacy of the people. No, and especially that this system is owned by the ICT itself. No. Ang problem is that when the system became operational, there were already millions of people who were vaccinated, no? And parang binabacktrack nila ngayon and that needs some kind of um, uh, vetting, no, kung talagang itong so all the data are actually in the hands of the LGUs, no, sila ang nag-operate nitong vaccination, and in the present system now, the one who is going to put in or to encode this data in the computer after a person has been vaccinated is supposed to be the ICT trained, no? And I think they were able to train thousands of people, no, involved in the vaccination program. Yun nga, nagba-backtrack pa sila because a number of our people have been vaccinated, wala pa itong system na ito. So kaya nga it's still in a pilot stage, no, and only those who are planning or has plans to go abroad and need this vaccination card are being entertained right now. I think
Okay. So in other words, ini-incubate pa itong technology or this system, and we have to be really careful about this, Yusek.
yes.
Okay.
Meantime, we are still using the yellow card of the Bureau of Immigration.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that, Yusek Rio, and thank you for joining us once again. And salamat na lang nakabalik ka para makapaggawa tayo ng proper ending. Pag kasi controversial na yung sinasabi mo, medyo tayong dalawa ay nadja-jam lagi. Thank you very much, Yusek.
Tito, thank you again, and next time, baka
Okay.
baka hindi na tayo jajamin.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, that's former Undersecretary Eliseo Rio of the Department of Information Communication Technology. And yun po, nadinig nyo naman sa kanya yung mga concerns. First would be the app for the counting operation of the counting machines for 2022. Second is this data that is being collected, and it seems that we still have to ensure where they are. But in case you are wondering, ladies and gentlemen, Cito, ano ba yan? Bakit ba pinag-interesan mo yung data na yan? Alam nyo po, we don't need to be conspiracy theorists to be interested. If you have suddenly been receiving a high number of advertisements, mga offers, mga kung ano-ano, na hindi nyo naman kilala, you don't know how these people got your number, why they are texting you, then you have to ask, where are they collecting the telephone numbers from? Who is controlling this? And that is why we are trying to get people to be more interested and concerned about data privacy and mining. So let's bring in our next interview. He is the chairperson or chairman of the National Privacy Commission, former Assistant Secretary of the DOST for Climate Change Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction, and was concurrently OIC Director of the Science Technology Information Institute, the man behind DOST's Project NOAA, alumnus of the University of the Philippines. O, dadagdagan ko pa ba, sir?
Maroons.
Oh, UP Maroons. Okay. Thank you for joining us again, Chairman Liboro. And
Alam mo, Cito, good morning sa'yo. Pero alam mo, interview pa lang sa Creo, ulam na, no? So hindi pa na-alam mo sa live show, busog na sa pinag-usapan ninyo kanina.
Could you repeat that, Chairman? Medyo naputol-putol tayo eh.
Alright. Sabi ko lang, I was already monitoring your interview with Yusek Rio at doon pa lang, ulam na, sabi nga mga kababayan natin, no? Puno na, no? Busog na sa almusal, no? Doon pa lamang. No? But they really opened a lot of I think issues that would really resonate, especially in the coming months.
Yeah, that is precisely our point because alam nyo, I don't know if you've seen the Netflix series House of Cards, but I'm beginning so many to see live copy art, sabi nga nila, di ba? Kasi parang ang
Yeah.
daming nangyari doon sa political series na yon na nangyayari sa atin. Not just here but in the United States, where data mining is being used to influence the thinking, behavior in social media. And sabi ko, please try to find Yusek Rio and Chairman Liboro kasi it was Senator Ping Lacson himself who said on our interview na meron 20 million individual data na nag-gather. Nasa na yung data na yon? And so Chairman, brief
Yeah,
us.
well,
No?
Sito, unfortunately, hindi ko pa napanood yung House of Cards, pero yan ang susunod ko kung nasa Netflix yan, ano.
Huwag ka kasing nanonood
Papanoorin
ng
natin
Korean
yan.
telenovela.
Wala. Alam mo naman dito yung remote nasa misis ko. So,
Yun na nga.
Ano tayo Sito. But, tama, no? And even in the coming months, and pag-usapan na natin yung elections, Sito, and I think what we will be witnessing really is unprecedented use of ICT and unprecedented use of data, right? So that is, I think that will set this coming national exercise apart. No? But again, this has been precipitated, of course, by the overnight migration of everyone, no? Practically everyone to online, no? And data itself. Alam mo, kanina you were mentioning about itong mga even mga paano na nakakatanggap tayo, no, ng mga kung mensahe. A few days ago, I already raised the alarm of this event, a security incident called smishing, no? SMS phishing, no? Meaning, yung dati kasi kung phishing lang, email, ganyan. Ngayon, natatanggap na sa SMS, Sito, smishing. At doon may mga malicious link, no, na pwedeng i-click or i-tap. No? So bakit namin nire-raise yung alarm dito? Because nakita na rin, no, ng mga kriminal na maraming Pilipino ay gumagamit na ng data. Right? At hindi lamang SMS. No? At lead lamang ang SMS. Pero once you tap and once you click, dinadala ka na dun sa mga malicious sites. No? Kung saan kukunan ka pa ng mas maraming impormasyon. No? At marami na nabibiktima dito. Right? So, yun yung aming, ngayon, going to sinasabi ni Senator Ping, no, that has always been our concern. I guess that's everybody's concern, right? And right now, but Yusek Rio also confirmed, no, what is important here is really who's in control. And in our law, we call it the personal information controller. And that has been, I think, the most vital or important aspect, no, of any discussion when it comes to data. Who's controlling it? At this point, it is the DILG supposedly, right? Kasi sila po ang nag-acknowledge, no, na kinuha po or in-adopt itong technology like a digital solution and a contact tracing app. And sila dapat, no, ang nag-ensure nito. At kung mayroong hindi mangyayaring maganda doon sa 20 million na sinasabi nga po natin, may mananagot po dyan and mananagot po dyan ng DILG.
But
so,
do we
lamang
have...
po kalinaw ito.
Yeah, but do we have blanket laws that make it illegal and punishable by law the sale, adulteration, or because I just got a text from my wife and she's saying that even in Holland, because she monitors what happens in Holland, when they were recruiting health workers, they discovered that some people had mined the data of those applicants and sold it to the open market. Like 3-4 years ago, before all of this was happening, ang Stilo, may mga umiikot sa mga kung saan saang mga tindahan, iniipon lahat yung mga pangalan and cellphone number para ma-text ka ng mga offer. Pero ngayon, mas high-tech na lahat, and data mining na ang nangyayari. So, do we have a law na clearly says, pag pinakialaman mo ang data ng isang tao without permission and you used it or sold it, you go to jail?
Well, Sito, yan yung ating Data Privacy Act. No? Bagamat ito po bago lamang. So nabuo din na mga NTC noong 2016. Kaya't sasabihin ko nga, no, doon sa kung mangyayari man, ano, itong concern, no, ni Senator Ping Lacson at concern nating lahat, may mananagot doon sa penal provisions na tinatawag na unauthorized processing and unauthorized purpose at meron hong pagkakakulong, no, nakatapat po yan. Kung mabibreach po yan, no, at makukuha po yan at mapapatunayan merong negligence sa bahagi po ng Personal Information Controller, yan naman po ay maaaring kang kasuhan naman dyan ng access due to negligence at yan din po ay may kaparusahan, no, at meron pa rin kasamang fine. Right?
Yeah.
At sa ngayon, ano, we are processing so many cases and complaints, and last year alone, we have 2,678 complaints, no, docketed in our dockets na dinidinig po namin, ano. At the same time, all of the personal information controllers under our law implementing rules of the EPA are required to report breaches. Right? So nire-require namin sila, right, na report kung magkakaroon ng breach o security incident, hacking, may nakunan data sa kanila. So marami na po, no, ang nagre-report po niyan sa amin. Siguro little statistics, sasabihin ko sa iyo, Cito, no, this year alone, we have 168 breaches that have been reported to us. I think in the third quarter alone. And 30 of the 168, or good 17%, were reported by government agencies. Right? So tinitignan namin yun. Ano? Kasi nga, breaches happen. Right? But what we want to prevent is privacy or breach disasters, no? Yung sabi mo nga, na wipe out yung data at nagamit ng iba. Yun yung talagang nagpapakaba sa atin, no? So various, so I would say doon in the recent past, around 17% of reported breaches in the country were reported by government agencies. So alam nila yung obligasyon nila dito. So doon sa sinasabi mo na may tangan ng database, whether it's a DILG or the DICT, if anything happens, no, daan sa mga database na yan, whether it's an intent, o lalo na kung breach po ito, kailangan po nilang, obligasyon nilang i-report sa amin yan. At pag hindi nila ginawa yan, dagdag, no, na penalty po yan. Alam mo, Cito, bagitin ko lang, ano, just a week ago, we conducted a what we call a Data Protection Officers Summit. We targeted the software developers and programmers, no, both government and private. You were so surprised. Almost 600 software developers and programmers, no, ang umattend nito at pinaliwanag namin sa kanila, no, sa lahat na nag-ooperate at gumagawa ng mga apps na ito, kung ano ang responsibilidad nila. And very important doon, ano, halimbawa, na sinabi rin namin ang obligasyon nila, na kung may pinapagawang hindi tama, no, whether it's a private company or a government agency, na bilang programmer, no, na alam mo, teka muna, hindi tama ito, bakit ang dami nating hihinging data? Sasabihin, obligasyon nilang sabihin, no, dito sa mga heads of agencies or whether it's a corporation, na hindi ho maaari po ito, baka ho kailangan natin tignan ito because maaari ho tayong lumalabag sa Data Privacy Act. So gusto ko lang banggitin ito, Cito, kasi yung mga fears na ganyan, yung mga binabanggit natin, hindi mo maaaring itago yan, Cito. Sisingaw at sisingaw yan. Yung kung sinasabi natin na may sumausaw dyan sa 20 million yan, sisingaw yan, Cito. Ang daming forum ng mga IT, pinag-uusapan nila yan. At kami nakikinig dyan, no? Kasi doon namin nalalaman, nakakakuha rin kami ng lead. Sino nagka-breach na hindi nagre-report o kaya mismo mga actual, no, na incidents, no? Kasi pinag-aaralan yan natin.
Chairman, let's go for a quick break, and when we return, may papaliwanagan lang namin sa inyo kasi may sinabi kayo 168 million ba yun na reports?
No, sir. Incidents of breaches.
Incidents of breaches. Okay. We'll go for a quick break, and when we return, let's carry on talking about this issue of data mining kasi naiirita na rin yung iba sa inyo na every store you go, they're asking about that. Okay, we'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. And at this point of the program, we are joined by Chairman Mon Liboro of the National Privacy Commission. Chairman, we were talking about data mining, accountability, etc. Now, ang concern talaga is two things. Whether the data will be used for the upcoming elections or if the data is being used and being sold so that we as citizens or individuals can be sold, literally sold to advertisers. Di ba yan ang issue with Facebook, etc. So, yung bang mga hinihingi, those data that are required of us when we enter establishments for contact tracing daw, what is the responsibility of business establishments or owners in securing that data? Kasi ang inaalala ko, baka naman pinagtatapon lang, tapos biglang may isang baliw na makukuha yon. Uy, eto yung Liboro, tawagan natin, harasin natin, etc.
Maaari po mangyari yan, Cito, no? Kaya sa tanong mo, again, ito po mga establishments na ito, sila po ang tinatawag nating controller dito. At meron po silang kaakibat na obligasyon at responsibilidad na i-secure huyaan. Ang ating mantra nga dyan is collect what is necessary but disclose only to proper authority. At meron ng guidelines ang DOH, Cito, together with the NPC. We crafted guidelines on contact tracing as early as April of last year. At yun po yung ginagawang pamantayan po dyan, no? At pati po yung fields, no, na kailangan kolektahin. So we reminded DOH, no, sila rin po naglalabas kung ano po yung mga data kailangan nila. Na kung ano ba yung mga fields, no, kailangan kolektahin. At more importantly, Sito, yung retention limit, no, hanggang kailan ba ito kailangan hawakan. No? So, it's 30 days, no? Even the DTI, kung makikita po niyo, yun po ang retention po niyaan. Kasi beyond that, Cito, di ba? Wala ka ng purpose dahil kung contact yan, alam na natin yung development ng virus, ilang araw, ganyan. Ano? So, useless na yung data niyan supposedly beyond 30 days, which is the maximum. So, kapag wala na siyang purpose, dapat po yan dinidispose. So, yan po yung aming tinitingnan. Alam mo, Cito, gusto ko lang banggitin this month alone. In the past months, now, we've been issuing warning letters and compliance letters to many local government units. No? Kasi hindi lang namin yun ang tinitingnan namin. Pati yung kanilang mismo mga social media. Kung sabi siya, marami nagre-report sa amin. At tinitingnan namin yan kung bakit maraming kinokolekta yata, no, itong LGU nito. And pinapatawag namin yung data protection officers and quickly sinisita namin sila to what we call compliance or warning letters. And this month alone, we issued 58 warning letters. No? At monitor namin yan, Cito. And again, ano, they are reminded, right, of their obligations under the Data Privacy Act.
These are local governments. They're not even business establishments.
We have done that to business establishments, and last year alone, no, 22 establishments. Not only establishments, chains of supermarket, botika, even one restaurant chain. Ayun sa supermarket na malawak, no. Kung mapapansin mo siguro rin, umiikot ka, di mga malalaki dyan, makikita mo nakalabas na yung mga privacy notice nila. Because very important, no, sa sinasabi. At turo para sa benefit ng mga listeners po natin. Choice and notice, no. Notice and choice, yun po yung pinaka dapat natin hinahanap dito po sa mga nangongolekta na ito, Roy. So, binibigyan ba tayo ng tamang notice? Transparent ba sila? Sinasabi ba nila kung paano ginagamit ito hanggang kung kailan? And second, yung choice. Kung ayaw mo na, Cito, right? So dapat i-block mo na yan o sabihin mo sa kanilang, ayaw ko nang tumanggap, no, ng mensahe mula sa iyo. So moving forward, to all whoever, no, establishments yan, political parties, candidates, are you providing notice and choice, no, and consent, no, doon yung ano doon, no, na pwede ba dapat sito bago ka makatanggap kung hindi ka, kung wala ka naalalang inoohang ka, no, natatanggap ka nitong mga push advertisements na ito, pwede mo sabihin ayoko nang tumanggap nito. Huwag niyo na akong padalhan nito.
Okay, medyo na dumadami yan, and that is why we also
Correct.
picked up the issue because people
That's
are
correct.
getting really annoyed.
Sito, and you know, pupuntahan ko na siguro yung topic. This has been asked to me, no, yung
Yeah.
emergency broadcast down, no, ng isang
Okay.
that's a real concern kasi nga
No, but is
when
that
you do that,
under your area of responsibility? Kasi sabi ko parang DICT yata yun.
tama yun, NTC, National Tele, kasi mukhang tipong broadcast siya. No, you don't need a contact list, Sito. You don't need a database para gawin yun kasi geographical siya, right? So, bumabato within an area. But on the other hand, Sito, you are depriving, you are impinging on the rights, no, of data subjects. Ang sinasabi ko nga, no, yung rights natin to be notified and to have a choice. So kapag binobroadcast yun, right, no choice ka eh. Tama? Hindi rin sinasabi sa'yo kung saan gagamitin ito. So it's not, again, sabi ko, this is because it infringes on our right, no, to be notified and to understand.
Trespassing.
Correct, no? And then saan wala kang choice, no? Dahil hindi mo dahil nga binobroadcast. Kaya nga, alam mo yung broadcast na yan, is it the exclusive domain of government, no? Or within an area, ginagamit yan sa mga concert, no? Kapag pag may concert, biglang daw sa mga telepono ng tao, ginagamit nila yan para mag-push ng advertisement. Pero ikaw, meron kang understanding, no? May expectation ka na, yes, no? Nagpunta ako sa at pwede siguro kung tumanggap ng ito mensahe. So, yes, it's really down and really applaud the NTC for cracking down on this, no? Because again, the privacy side of that is that you are not providing the citizens notice and choice.
Okay, so at the end of the day, hindi po ito komplikadong storya about technology and spyware and malware. Ito yung lang may nag-broadcast na hindi mo naman gusto at hindi ka pumayag, bigla na lang itinulak. Trespassing na yon, digital trespassing.
Ang ganda ng term mo, no? Pero sabi ko nga, kaya nga po yan ginagamit lamang ng NDRRMC para sabihin kung may lumindol o mayroon tsunami padating dahil kailangan mong matanggap yung mensahe na yon. Wala kang choice, kailangan mong matanggap yon. Pero dito po,
hindi lang pala siya digital trespassing, violation of national security.
That's I would say that, Cito,
Yeah.
because this is a very, and that was really, you mentioned yung pinanggalingan ko before, Assistant Secretary of the DOST for Climate Change and Disaster Risk. And that is really the concern, no? Because when people are getting this, no, as emergency alert, kapag totoong risko na, o natural, o lindol na yan, o tsunami na yan, baka hindi mo napansinin. Kung marami ka natatanggap ng mga ganyan, right? Yun yung sinasabi natin, Cito. And let me just kung bakit tayo may data privacy. It's because we want everyone to trust this new environment, this new digital society that we're all in.
Unfortunately,
pagdududahan mo lahat.
I'm run out of time, but I think we've driven that message quite clearly. Thank you very much for your time, Chairman Liboro, and we will surely be reaching out to you in the near future as this thing develops. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Chairman Mon Liboro of the National Privacy Commission. I leave you with a commanded blessing of the Lord. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his face toward you and give you peace. God bless all of you. Thank you for joining us once again here on Agenda. And please keep it here on One News PH.